So yeah, the Deadpool review. So what it is. Yeah. This past week, I have been working on the stoner comedy with the spaceship. This past week, I'm going over that and fixing the ending to include more of elements of the Starship Location story that it's based on, basically. The Starship Location story is the Semester's saga, 1, 2, and 3. I changed all the character names, some of the places, and switched around a lot of the plot. But it's basically the same story. And as I was looking through that thing, I was like, okay, this other version is different enough that it's considered sort of a alternate universe take on it. Why not say that this is like a glorified PL? And because it's kind of a little dirty, little Deadpool-like, a little dirty. So why not make it the PL version of it that would come out later, since it kind of is. It's a sex comedy. I mean, it's a stoner comedy which has some sex elements. It's not, really, really randy or anything. It's not nearly as steamy as something from the romance books or anything. It's pretty generic, I would say. There'll be a scene where there's a scene where somebody has oral sex, or there's a scene where somebody has sex, or that kind of thing. Or some people get stoned and they have sex. But yeah, it's not meant to be. It's like a teen sex comedy, basically, in space. The premise was that Mark's Cards and I had worked out came from 2015 when I was at Bacon at the Winter Twins comic writing workshop. Even though I've written stuff, at that point, I guess we were probably on the same playing field, but now they've gone on ahead and done 3 or 4 other books, and they got together with the McCraffy people and stuff. So now they're famous, and I was just starting out. Anyway, so they're completely different at this point. They're rich. But the writing contest mentioned something that's similar to what Mark's Cards had mentioned earlier as well. Make a story where you're using some of your old premises, but put them in a setting where the setting is completely different. And then it can be sellable. Some of these old fake diary journal stories, and some of these old fictional adventure stories, which were not usable as on location, if you put them in space on a spaceship and had them be obsessed with the 80s or the 90s, 80s for this story, and a little bit of the 90s for this story, a little bit 2000s, and for Marshall Sportiest, it's another story, they're in the 2000s, and for Semesters, they're in the 90s and the 2000s. Do that. Or Lelantos, where they're in the 24th century, mainly. There's all these other stories that Mark's Cards and I have been working at for the past year. And this is the Silly Trek saga. The starship meets on location. So, what's just going on behind the scenes? Well, Kaimara was in hiatus. Kaimara will be out of hiatus very shortly. I keep saying that, but it will be. And we will be doing that other stuff. But, of course, I have other projects going on. I have like 4 or 5 books going on all at once. Not as prolific as Asimov was. I'll have to discuss writing workshops and things like that later, but suffice it to say, the age of desktop publishing, the age of self-publishing, and all that stuff, where you hear the big publishing companies and publishing houses going on about how, like, they get snooty, and they're like, you don't have a bestseller, you're not published by Tor or Pocket Books or something, that you can't play in this sandbox, actually you can. So as to say, you totally can. You can write whatever you like. The sky's the limit. If Summit Publishers and those guys that published a Twilight fanfic, Twilight's bad enough, they published a Twilight fanfic rewritten as 50 Shades of Grey, made 3 movies out of it that were semi-hits, sold billions of copies, best-selling book. It's basically a romance porno. You can write anything you want. Anything. I'm not saying go write porn. What I'm saying is, if those people can get away with doing that, bullshit, you can get away with doing it too. Just go and do it. But be motivated to write a good story and come up with the yarn. Don't rip off other people. Try to come up with your own ideas. Yeah. So, or also, to use a more generic idea, during election years, you always have a slew of pundits from the television that suddenly have 5 or 6 bestsellers for several weeks in the New York Times and other places. And it's like, how did they do that? How did they get to be bestsellers when you had never even heard of them until they had an opinion during an election? And that's because they paid somebody. They're rich. They went to the publisher and said, I want mine on the bestseller list for 2 weeks. Okay, sir, how much do you want to pay us to put your book on, even though no one's actually reading your book? Yeah, here it is. Because, come on, some of those guys, no one's reading your book. It's not even on the library low list. And then there's books like the Harry Potter series that, for some reason, are ridiculously popular, even today. And they'll sell even bad sequels that are cursed child sequels, whatever. Just because. You can do anything. Young adult fiction used to be a very big deal. Making immediate movie deals out of your young adult fiction used to be a big deal. So yeah, just do it. Just, as they used to say. Not saying do smut. I'm saying do what you want to do. Publishing it. You can somewhere will publish your stuff. Don't go to people that are idiots that will not do it right. We're going to see whether what I mean is like publishers that are going to screw you. If you go to a self-publisher and they charge you too much, because there's rates. Don't go for the ones that charge you too much. You want to have at least 20% of your royalties to you, so that you make a profit. At least that much. 40%, hopefully. So you can make a profit on your story. That's because you could even publish your theories on ancient aliens if you want to. And UFOs. Anyway, so that's my little thing on storybooks and things. Internet news, I guess. As you know, I have 2 official channels. I have On Location Cats, and I have Weird Kitty 07, unofficial channels, official channel Star Trek Chimera, which I think has gone official at this point. On Location Cat went official last month, so it's now officially official again, which is cool. It was official before, now it's able to monetize, but I'm not monetizing yet on there. Don't have enough subscribers. Still don't have enough subscribers. Subscription views. If I get 10,000 of those, my channels will expand and I will be able to monetize. Yes, I don't have subscription 10,000 quite yet over there. But I will, probably the end of this year. And as for subscribers, I need a lot more, so like and subscribe to the channel. Anyway, so and then there's 2 other floating channels that are out there. There's a Kal Kat Kitty Key channel, the Freelance Kitty 14, and another one. There's also channels that are associated with the real name, Adam Brown. There are 2 of those. Those are just back doors into the other ones. So on the Ancient Aliens the thing, Jason Colavito, an Ancient Aliens debunker, who has a blog and has published like 5 books. Hey, bestseller. 1 bestseller on Amazon. Yes, for a while there. Not anymore, but I skimmed through some of his books. Anyway, I didn't buy any of them though. I go to his blog all the time. So I was happening upon some trolls going on about his Wikipedia page, And really, after publishing 3 or 4 books, yeah, I suppose he could have a Wikipedia because he has been associated with George Joscolios from Ancient Aliens. Knows him. They went to college together. He has connections, so sure, he can have a wiki. These trolls seem to be under the bizarre impression that he was writing his own Wikipedia and making himself popular. No, aggregates fans produce Wikipedia. Wikipedia is edited by people who submit to it. And back in 2000, 2008, 2007 or 8, I'd say 7 or 8, somewhere around that, 10 years ago, I was a Wikipedia editor, briefly. I didn't like it. And, yeah, I deliberately lost my password. I don't know what password is. But yeah, so yeah, that was fun. Not. So I know, yeah, anybody can edit anything on Wikipedia. It was mainly Star Trek stuff that I messed with, because that's what I did, Star Trek stuff. Yeah, and you couldn't put your storybook up there or anything. Yeah, they won't let you, even though I had just published Distant Destinies within that year, 2008, the first one. They were like, no, you can't put your own book up. Someone else has to. A year later, someone else did. But anyway, that's all coming back. Distant Destinies will be back this year at some point, followed by the first Starcrackers and the first Silly Trek. We will see our locations. And hopefully Chimera will be out by December, or late summer, possibly early December. We'll finally finish the 23 minutes of page dialogue. It's 23 pages, but it's probably 16 minutes of dialogue. Really, it's not that long, because mainly it's descriptive. And Mark's cards' lines are really not something he, not hard to do. We just haven't done them. But yeah, the anniversary of Deep Space Nine's already passed, so I guess it's going to be closer to the anniversary of Voyager then. But yeah, it is coming out. We're doing the Star Trek parody. We also had to get some permission from Paramount and CBS, which are having an issue concerning their remerger. Viacom and CBS are debating on how they're going to do that. We'll see what they do over there at Paramount, and whether they will rehire or maybe they will. But we'll see. Yeah. Yep.